Hello friends, welcome or welcome back if you're new. This is Kara, also known as Pens, Inks, and Iced Coffee across the internet. Okay, not really across the internet, on like 3 social media platforms. But I'm coming to you today with a little haul. It'll be a quick video. If you see the stroopwafel over here, you probably already know. I placed a little order from Apple Boom. And the reason I ordered from them is because that's where you can get the Dutch Pen Show exclusives. The inks, the pens. Now, I really wanted the Dutch Pen Show exclusive Scribo, but at this point, I don't really need to add a pen of that value to my collection. There are other pens I want more than that one right now, but I did get a pen. So we'll start with the pen, and then I'll show you the ink, which is here, and then we'll do a little swatch and dip test, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's all dry. Oh, Waterworld, and I love the sticker. That's so pretty. Even the packaging for it's themed. I love it. All right, we'll break into this bad boy. I think I got a double. Well, we'll see in a minute. Oh my word, this is embarrassing. There we go. I love the ones that come in the steel tins, which I think all of their aluminum ones do. So you also get a Kaweco sticker. I didn't say what it was. It's the Kaweco exclusive, Aqua Silver. Let's take this out of its little sleeve. Its little jacket. That blue is so pretty. And it says right here on the cap, Dutch Pen Show. It's etched in there. Oh, wow. Let's see if I can get a better look at this. Let's see if she wants to focus. There we go. I did get it in a broad nib. So Kawecos typically will come with their cartridge. I don't usually use the cartridge. I have empty cartridges that are this size that I will syringe fill, like syringe and needle fill, because it holds more ink than does the Kaweco converter. I've been told you can eyedropper them. I've never been one to really like the eyedropper because I don't want that volume of ink usually. I usually want to switch out my pens before that volume of ink would be done. So that's not really my style to eyedropper them. But I think you can if you add an O-ring to it. Again, I don't really prefer that much ink. Or rather, I like to change out my pen. There's only maybe 1 or 2 pens that, you know, in my brain have permanent ink pairings. And, for example, I have the Pilot VP, like the capless VP, in, I think, matte blue is the colorway. That is permanently forever and a day inked with Konpeki for me. That's a forever ink pairing. Most of my inks are not forever ink pairings. I love to switch it up. Inks are probably my favorite thing about this fountain pen hobby. So we'll take a quick look here at the ink. This one is called Waterworld Exclusive. And I think this one is a flat ink because I'm pretty positive that the Robert Osters that are the Shake and Shimmy come in with a gray cap. So we will do a quick swatch of this, see how it looks. I'm going to be quick and kind of dirty with this one. Normally I like to lay out very aesthetically pleasing swatches. This one is just going to kind of be a mishmash of whatever we can get. We'll just take this trash from the pen. We'll do a little squish. See how the shading looks. Because this is why, so the reason I like to, number one, I like to kind of recycle. And using the plastic that something comes in allows me to do a little recycling and repurposing. But it also is cool because you get to see the different shading aspects of the ink. So we'll see how that dries. We'll do a quick dip test. See how the pen writes and what it looks like in a more typical writing sample. Okay, so the ink is maybe. There we go. Robert Oster. Dutch Pen Show exclusive 2025. And I think the name of it is Waterworld. Very pretty. I definitely don't have many inks that are this color, mostly because it's not really one that I gravitate towards. So I thought, you know, for sure I could enjoy having this color of ink kind of in my collection. There was a need for it, if you will. Not really a need, okay? Most of us don't need any of the inks we get at this point, right? Once you're kind of deep into the hobby and collecting, you don't really need it anymore. It's a want. And while that's drying, I thought, you know, for shits and giggles, we can just go through all of the ways that I swatch a new ink really quickly. If you've seen, I think it was 2 or 3 videos ago, I already did this with a bunch of inks, but we can just run through them real quick. It also kind of shows how things behave on different papers and stationery, I guess. So this is my Tomoe River paper. It's a Tool brand disc-bound notebook that I sort of just took. I had the hole punch already. I already had everything except the paper. So I just took the hole punch and everything, cut some into the loose leaf Tomoe River, and that way I can kind of swatch on Tomoe River. And I have other ways that I do it, but we'll start here. So I just take a little dab of that. And I swirl it with an acrylic block. And then I'll take my Kakamori. This one's the stainless steel nib. Do some lines to show the shading. Right, and I do it, the way that I do this is not that exciting. I know several people do it, you know, very similar. I want to say the person that I got part of this from is Karina Loves to Plan. I've adapted part of it from ways that I've seen Hi Julia here do some of her swatching. Dandelion Diaries is another one. So none of this is my own idea. It's all just things that I have seen other people do, and I've adapted different elements of that because I like it. But I certainly don't want to come across as, I created this. This is my way. It's the way that I do it. It's not something I created. I definitely found it from people who are more experienced than me, people who are more creative than me in some ways. And I thought their way worked really well. So I've adapted it. Let's see. All right. Get to the Robert Oster page. This one is a Kokyo Campus Smart Ring Binder, a B5 size. I have a couple A5s, but I use those mostly for note taking. And my inks are all separated in here by brand. There's no rhyme or reason to the colors in that there's no, I don't sort them by all blues, all greens, all purples, anything of that nature. And then I also use a Wearingeul swatch card. Ones that are like exclusive, there's a system to this, okay? It's neurotic. Bear with me. Ones that are exclusive to either a store or in this case, like the Dutch Pen Show, they get the Atlas exclusive. I also have like the cat face one, the blank picture one, and the ink drop, like the little water droplet one. And then the last way that I swatch the ink is on just a piece of Kokio printer paper. I cut these down into about the size of a trading card, and they go into a big trading card notebook. And these are sorted entirely by color. So, you know, light blues, medium blues, dark blues, teals, etc. So that I kind of have different ways of looking at what I'm working with. So we'll do this little system of how I do it. And this is excessive. This is a lot. Please don't think, you know, that I'm saying that everyone should do theirs this way. They shouldn't. I'm definitely more neurotic than the average person probably. But part of it is because I really enjoy ink swatching. So having multiple ways to do it really excites me. It's something that I enjoy. You know, it relaxes me. It's a soothing experience. So do whatever the hell makes you happy, you know? Like, life is short. So whatever floats your boat, finds the lost remote, is fine with me. So this one doesn't really have to be pretty. I just kind of swirl it a couple times. And then it is helpful if I dip the correct side of the steel nib in there. I just dipped the river, or so this is a River City Penco holder that my steel nib is on. Robert Oster. Oop, no, I write it out on here. DPS for Dutch Pen Show 2025. Water World. Then do a little line. And we'll sit that one out to dry somewhere over there. And maybe. Do I need to dip again? Nope. There we go. And I do this way to kind of show off any additional chroma shading. Because if I've said it once, I've said it 18,000 times. I love chroma shading inks. I know you're tired of hearing it. It's okay. You don't have to tell me. I'm tired of hearing it too, but it doesn't stop me from repeating myself. And there are many ways to do this. A lot of people use either a paintbrush, which I honestly don't. I mean, the paintbrushes I have are like large form paintbrushes because I use the paintbrushes for pest control on my houseplants. Like I use those to apply the insecticidal soap for pest control. So I don't really have any, you know, paintbrushes that would be appropriate for this size. And for me personally, I don't feel like cotton buds would be good because, or Q-tips, whatever you call them, wherever you're from. They're called different things depending on where in the world you're from. It just seems wasteful and very messy. Every time I've tried to use the cotton buds, I end up forgetting which side I've inked, and then I just get ink all over my fingers. And like more so than I do with this. I'm sure I'll have ink on my fingers by the time this is done. But so I just find for me, who apparently cannot spell even though she's looking right at the word, using the Kakamori either brass or steel nib and kind of just coloring it in works great. But again, you don't have to do it the way I do it. You don't have to do it the way anyone says to do it. You do it the way you want to do it because this is your stuff, your life. You have to be happy, not me. And I'm very happy with the way that I do it. So we will let these dry and I will come back and show you what they look like. All right, we're mostly dry. I live in Florida. It's very humid here. It takes a long time for the heavier ink swatches to dry, but most of them are at least almost all of the way dry. So let's take a look here at the first swatch that I did on the Hobonichi. This is the 2024 Hobonichi Cousin. So we have some really pretty shading on that. Has like maybe a little bit of sheening, if you see kind of right here, but not a ton. I wouldn't say there's a ton of sheening by any stretch. The slightest bit, which is nice. And I actually don't really see much sheening at all in the writing sample I did. Only up here in the big heavy swatch. So that's on the Hobonichi. Here's the Wearingeul card. Has some really pretty shading on here. Here I have it on the Tomoe River paper. There is some sheening on here. Very tiny amount. Still not offensive to the eyes. If you compare it like to the Bantanyan Turquoise by Troublemaker up here, there's quite a bit of sheening. It's a very, very small amount. It's actually not even picking up on camera. There's such a small amount. And then I have my Kokyo Campus Smart Ring binder. And you can see it's still a little wet there in the center. That'll be okay. I'm not going to close it and put it away until it's all the way dry. And then the final, maybe. This one still has a little wet spot to it as well. Not a big deal. I'll leave it lay flat until it dries. But here where it's heavier swatch, you can see that it's nice and dry. And the writing sample of it's nice and dry. So you get a feel for what it would look like. It's very, very pretty. I like this ink a lot. I don't have, you know, a ton like it. I would argue that Troublemaker Bantanyan, and I may be saying that wrong. If I am, I'm sorry. Turquoise is quite similar. Maybe a bit more blue. Aqua. Whereas the Robert Oster Waterworld seems to have a bit more of a teal or green to it. If you like this video, please feel free to hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I would love to have you back. If you like this ink, let me know what you think. If you hate this ink, let me know what you think. What's your favorite? I would love to know in the comments what's your favorite Robert Oster exclusive ink is. Not like their traditional line, but what your favorite exclusive color. My favorite's probably actually going to be probably this one or the one they did for the Orlando Pen Show last year, the Purple Sunset. I'm really, really loving that one. I hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope you have a great week ahead of you. And stay classic, guys. Bye.